Happy birthday, Laurie Sherman. Today is Laurie Sherman's birthday. That would be April the 16th, 2023. Mm. Practically Perfect Disney Jewelry by Laurie Sherman. Updated. This is a blog that we posted back in February 12th, 2017. And so things have changed, but today is her birthday today, so I thought I would go ahead and post this blog. Um, this is from our e-ticket to Tomorrowland blog, and I will be podcasting it to the new Libsyn site where I have my blog, my podcasts. This is new to me. Sorry. So we interviewed her on that date, and this is what she said. This is an e-ticket to Tomorrowland question to Laurie. How did you come up with Walt's Time Fine Jewelry? And her answer, Laurie Sherman said, my father and Uncle Sherman brothers, my father and uncle, the Sherman brothers, who wrote the great scrapbook style book called Walt's Time. I have always loved the very Sherman play on words. I was asked by the Walt Disney Family Museum to create a line of fine gemstone and metal jewelry based on the characters that were created before 1968. The Walt that Walt had that Walt had in hand. Sorry. So the collection is now seen at the Walt Disney Family Museum. It all is all pre 1968. Waltz, t- Waltz Time Fine Jewelry seemed like a great name for this collection. I kept my name for the entire collection. At D23, there will be Waltz Time Fine Jewelry representing characters from Mickey to Moana. Uh, we were trying to help her get that out there, and actually, D23 refused her to use a Disney product, even though she was part of all this, growing up with the Sherman brothers, who made Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and well, we'll get into it. Okay, then there's a picture of her, and her, says Laurie, her husband John, and her late father Robert Sherman are at the White House. The Sherman family circa 1960s. It's another picture. I'll post these pictures, or I'll post a link to the pictures. The Sherman brothers with Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the car. Yes, they wrote all the music to this movie, and Dick Van Dyke was in it, the same as he was also in, uh, you know, Mary Poppins. All right, question two. E-Ticket to Tomorrowland asks, how did you get into creating jewelry? Do you keep all your profits, or do you donate any or part of it? Laurie responds, 10% profit of all sales go to our local food bank resources. Laurie also says, I have been creating jewelry since I was little. My little sister, Tre, was very good at it. I started working on jewelry professionally when I retired, mostly from international strategic communications in 2003. So, the e-tickets to Tomorrowland questions. By the way, the questions were given by my wife to her. I let her run this project because this is more of a woman's project compared to me doing this kind of stuff. E-ticket to Tomorrowland. Who are your favorite Disney characters? And Laurie responded, I have so many. Mary Poppins, Bert, Mrs. Banks, Mr. Banks, Jane, and Michael. I love them all. I love the strong women. The Pooh family. I love Sterling Holloway. One of my first recording jobs was with him, and there is a record which we happen to have, by the way, as Walt Disney's stories of Aesop with Sterling Holloway. I can't do his voice. Laurie has her hand on Sterling's knee. This so you can look at the picture. Laurie has her hand on Sterling's knee. Her younger brother Jeff is in the bottom right corner. I love Charlotte and Fern from Charlotte's Web. I love Snow White, and I got to fill in at Disneyland in the parade as Snow White when I was about 17. Now my hair is Snow White. Mulan, Belle, Esmeralda, Maleficent, Pocahontas, Megra, Tiana, Nala, Ariel, and Ursula, Tink and Wendy, Tiger Lily, Jasmine. I love them all. And there's pictures of her jewelry, which you will see. There's like a hand, and here's an Alice in Wonderland piece that she made. A Mary Poppins inspired. It has an umbrella. It has a carousel horse, a heart, and a coin, a tuppence. They're all on this piece of jewelry that you wear. So she's very good with art of making jewelry. So e-ticket number 4 question: what type of things influence what you put into a certain piece of jewelry? Laurie Sherman. I think what would Mary Poppins or Pollyanna wear the at her wedding to work with her kids? I think more as an actress than a designer for a bit about these folks would truly want. My goal is to create jewelry that can be worn as is and just reminds us of the character and character traits of what we admire or hate. Then magically, I turn back into the jewelry maker and figure out gemstones and styles and metals, and I create these one of a kind pieces. I make men and kids jewelry as well. I also wholesale. I actually do mostly custom work. I love co creating with my clients. I keep my work reasonably priced so that it is accessible to many, and they are heirloom pieces. I have to say, she made me a. Um, I'm Catholic, and she made me the beads with the cross, and she also gave me a Mickey Mouse. Um, it wasn't a bracelet, but it was an actual gemstone that looks like Mickey. You'll get to see the picture, and it was very nice of her. I think she gave it to us because we made the blog about her. She also has a rose here, and I'm guessing this is, yes, it is Beauty and the Beast. It's gold, like Belle's dress, and then there's a rose connected to it. And then there's forks, knives, and spoons, which represent the guests, be our guests. There's some more jewelry, and this one is Snow White. It looks like diamonds and gems that you would get inside of a mine. Okay, e-ticket number 5 question. What themes will you be using in the upcoming D23 Expo in July? Now remember, this is in February of 2017. So we're going to be talking about 2018 of the D23 Expo. Wearable gemstones and metal fine jewelry that brings the best Disney characters into our daily lives and our most special occasions. E-tickets to Tomorrowland. What are your favorite rides at Disneyland? Ours are Haunted Mansion and the Pirates of the Caribbean and the Disneyland Railroad. That's my favorite. Laurie responds, I would like to remiss not to mention It's a Small World. I love the Carousel of Progress. In parentheses, I have a great story about my son Joshua at 16 months. Waiting in line and seeing seeing a video of Walt, Uncle Uncle Dick and Grandpa Bob. He went up to the line with a sense of amazement, telling everyone that that was his grandpa up there. People loved him. He was definitely a ham. And then she shows a picture of her and her father Robert around 1960 era. And there's another piece of jewelry. I'm guessing it is probably from uh, Under the Sea with the Little Mermaid, because there's fish and jewelry like that. You'll have to look at it. Number 7 question from E-Ticket to Tomorrowland. We understand you are a world traveler. Where's your favorite place to visit? Laurie says, favorites again. Truth, my backyard in Tucson. I'm not sure if she still lives there. I think she moved, actually. And then they'll show a picture of her with her Laurie with John. I think that's her brother. And then there's a picture of her in Tucson, Arizona, and somebody else in the background. And another picture of her with looks like Walt sitting on a rock in the background with her husband at the Walt Disney Family Museum. She says, I love visiting San Francisco Bay Area. I was in college at Stanford. In parentheses, my 40th reunion is later this year. And I will go up in late April or early May and do a product rollout at the Walt Disney Family Museum before D23. My dad loved London, and we lived there a while. I have been back many times and love it there. I love Rome and Florence, Italy. Salinas, Ecuador is wonderful. I lived in Australia for 5 years as part of me has never left. Need ticket to Tomorrowland. Number 8 question. Yes, we're always asking questions. We understand that Walt Disney Family Museum is carrying your Walt's Time Fine jewelry. Will any of your new pieces be featured at the D23 Expo or at the museum in San Francisco? Once again, I must mention that the D23 would not allow her to bring her jewelry there, although we did give some of the jewelry to people like Mark Davis when he was alive, and Bob Gurr got a train piece that she had made of the train, and I believe we gave a piece to Margaret Carey, who had played. She was the model for Tinkerbell. These were all as Laurie asked us to do. She said, give them out to the Disney people, which we did, and tell them where they came from, of course. Laurie says, I will have the entire collection at D23. Sorry, we couldn't do that. We tried. She tried. D23 didn't want to work with her. The Walt Disney Family Museum gift shop has 25 pieces of classic Disney collection. And while plans are not solid yet, we are working on a trunk show presentation with all or many of the pieces in late April or early May. I hope that there will be time for questions and so on. Number 9 question from E-Ticket to Tomorrowland. Where can we find your jewelry? Do you have a website or an online store? And her online store, I took a picture of it, but I will spell it out for you guys. Is SATYA and then a separate word, RISING. She says, right now, www.satirizing.jewelry.com. In a few weeks, I will have a website up that is www.waltztimejewelry.com or waltztimejewelry.com. Not sure yet. Own all the names. I'll have to I'll have a new logo which is got the Mickey Mouse in it that I told you that she had sent me. It's like um I want to say it's a stone. I believe she gave me a blue Mickey Mouse, but there's a red one in this picture. E-tickets to Tomorrowland. Question 10. What are you looking forward most at D23 Expo? And then we show the expo, the Ultimate Fan event. It says July 14th through the 16th, 2017. But we actually, that would be when it is. It was in 2017, not 2018. And her answer? Meeting everyone, seeing my Uncle Richard, I hope. E-ticket to Tomorrowland. Just in case people don't recognize you, is there anything else you might want to add? And she's wearing the jewelry that she makes. Okay, here comes a long answer from her. A couple of things that might or might not be interesting to your blog followers or podcast followers now. I was a recording artist. I was a recording artist for Disney and other studios from 1959 to 1974. I was also a pro actress, classical dancer, playwright, director, etc. I have one BA, four MAs, an MPH, and a PhD. I like school. I have worked in the arts, in environment and public affairs, and international and national public health. I was a director of the first U.S. AIDS prevention program, America Responds to AIDS. I was a director of the National Environment Center in Australia, a nonviolent action trainer, in parentheses, head of all training and in Australia, New Zealand, Pacific, and taught in Europe, Asia, etc., out of the parentheses. I taught Shakespeare at Oxford, and I have been an adjunct professor at Australian National University, UCLA, and more. I was an originator in cultural tourism in the US and Europe. I have won lots of awards and titles in communications, including being inducted into the Public Relations College of Fellows and getting awards from over 50 cities, mostly for my work in AIDS and keeping arts in the schools. In part of the Disney and in part with Disney Radio, which, by the way, is no longer. Plus, for interactive programs on the race in our country, I have written 6 plays, been published as a poet many times since I was 8 years old. I have worked as a consultant at the Lincoln Kennedy and many other arts centers in the U.S. I have been presented with presidential honors in the Department of Health and Human Services awards as well. And then here's her website one more time, www.satirizing.jewelry.com. Wow, you are an amazing woman. We would like to thank Laurie Sherman for taking time out of her busy schedule to chat with us here at the E-Ticket of Tomorrowland podcast. It's a blog, but podcast. Update. Due to the illness, Laurie will not be able to attend the D23 Expo in July. Sorry. And here's some more pictures of jewelry she's made. And her cat's name was Joey. I'm not sure if Joey's still alive. Maybe. This was a while ago. more jewelry with Mickey Mouse's head. And then our last thing that we mentioned is I want to thank Laurie for sharing her beautiful photos and D23. If you wish to see pictures larger, click on them. Thanks for viewing our blog. And thanks for listening to our podcast. And as I said, I will try to post either a URL or get the pictures up so you can see those. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to Mitchie the Kid 65 on YouTube. That is for the podcast. And I will have it up on Libsyn soon. I hope. I'm still working on my channel for a podcast. Thanks for watching and have a great night and happy birthday, Laurie. Hope you are having a great birthday tonight.